Hi everyone, it's Jenny Gillen here. And just quickly before getting into the bulk of things, if you go to listeningbeyondhearing.com.au events, you'll see that on 29th of May is the analysis day. 5th and 16th of October, we have Twilight and exam prep. So it'd be great to see you online for those events. Today, I'm going to look at focusing on tempo as an element or a subset of rhythm or duration. So, tempo, on the surface, there's not necessarily a lot to say about it, but the first thing that's really important is actually that you name what the tempo is. So, what is the tempo? And the question is, how do you describe that? We have in the Western classical music field Italian terms that describe these. So you've got largo and presto, andante, moderato, all those sorts of words. So when do you use those, and do you use them all the time? Now, if you're sophisticated enough to understand the style of music, the best thing to do is use terminology that is relevant to the style. So if you're hearing a piece of classical music, small c, make sure you use the Italian terms. If you're hearing a rock piece, saying that the tempo is allegro is possibly not quite what they're wanting. So stick to that. So first of all, say what the tempo is. And that basically comes down to, is it fast? Is it slow? Is it moderate? Is it very fast? Is it very slow? And then the question is, does it change? So does it change? Does it get faster? Does it get slower? Once you answer that question, the question is, how does it change? So if it does change, does it gradually get faster over a long period of time, or does it suddenly get faster? Is it one tempo and then it's much faster, so it changes from one tempo to another, or is there a transition time where it is actually getting faster or getting slower? So don't just say it gets faster, give an indication of how that actually occurs. Does it occur as a break and then something's immediately faster, or is there a getting faster process? And over how long does that actually take? The next thing when you're talking about tempo is, what about the beat and the pulse? So the beat is your heartbeat, and it's amazing how many students and really good music students don't necessarily know what the difference between the beat and the pulse is. So I tell them the story of my house, which used to be one house, and it is now two houses, and we're in the back house. So that was a lot, and it was subdivided into two. Across the road, we have one house. It was knocked down and it was divided into three. So I joke and say that my pulse, or the subdivision of the beat, is a common time or a simple time pulse, because we're divided into two, whereas compound time is when you divide the beat into three. So that means you either have a beat which goes beat, beat, pulse, 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 pulse. So it's divided into two, or you have beat, beat, pulse, 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 1 and 2 and which divides it into three. So that's the subdivision of the beat, and that's called the pulse. So is there someone in the piece that's keeping the beat? Is there someone in the piece that's keeping the pulse? If it's really clear and it's prominent, it's important. So you need to discuss whether it is important or not. So the next thing is there a change in time signature? Because this changes your appearance or your feeling of what the actual tempo is. And does the time signature change? When there is no clear pulse, what is actually happening in the music? So often that's to do with the use of silence. It's to do with the use of rubato. It's to do with the use of changes or long durations of notes, and it often feels like it's a slow tempo if there is any sort of tempo, uses of pauses and silence. But what is actually happening, maybe listen to some of these things and see whether you can figure out what is happening when there is no clear pulse. Now, I've just now created a bit of a YouTube on my Listening Beyond Hearing YouTube channel. I've done a few songs that you can use to discuss how tempo is used in a different way. And there's also chapter 2A of Listening Beyond Hearing. So get your stuff together. Good luck.